At the end of the last video, where I showed you how to build into the wall for instances where outside of the wall isn't an option, I pointed out two big spaces where cabinets would go. And that is what this video will be on how to build. If you want to get caught up on the entire Loft series up to this point, then check out the playlist I've put together for you. Outside of just books, I wanted space for my large vinyl collection to go, and that's what I'll utilize these cabinets for. If you're looking for vinyl storing furniture ideas, then check out the record stand I built with a center cubby that can hold 60 plus vinyls in it. Then at the end of this video, I'll show you two different custom ways of storing vinyls. Alright, let's build some large cabinets with slatted doors. If you're wanting a large cabinet, then no, it is just a giant box and can be kept simple. I'm using dados on mine because I own a CNC shop, so I just had my saber cut all of my parts. But if you don't have access to a CNC, then you can do a simple butt joint. Or if you want dados, I'll link to a video of mine showing you how to build a very simple cabinet. Then you can scale it to whatever size you're needing. Whatever connection you pick, wood glue and an 18 gauge nailer can be used for joining things together.
It's like a little casket.
I'm wanting mirrored matching cabinets, so I repeated the same process to end up with two bodies.
There we go. Two mirrored cabinets.
Next, let's make a face frame.
So I'm about to hold this long board into place, and just a tip if you ever need a third hand is you can clamp something just lightly into place to where you can do this with it and have some wiggle room, because then that way whenever I set this on top, if it needs to go down some, then I can just angle this down and then I'll come over here and fully tighten it down.
Since I'm using white oak plywood for the body, I'm using solid white oak for the frame. Again, wood glue and an 18 gauge here to attach. Clamping a scrap into place is an easy way to ensure your trim is perfectly flush. It also takes out that slight bow nicely.
I'm just making sure that this is not only flush but also closed. This guy up here. Looks good.
All of the cabinets in my loft space will have a bar where LED lights will later be added. I highly recommend thinking about your lighting needs prior to cutting your parts, because while they can be added later to the surface, a dado where a channel goes in is much nicer. It'll be hidden this way, and it'll give me a way to add a diffuser, which just softens up the overall look of the light.
I'm going to turn this one on its face here so that I can glue in that light bar. And then I'll be ready to putty all of the holes I just made, sand it, give it a coat of finish.
Now let's get to the doors. These are made from plywood and then edge banded on both sides. Note that I did have a CNC not only cut the profile of the slats, but also a few channels for stretchers to go. And these stretchers will be what holds all of the slats together as one door. After laying them out, I first had to cut away the edge banding that covered up each one of these openings. There is a lot, but it's a simple task for a sharp chisel. To align the slats with one another, I first clamped a board to my workbench. This way I had something to butt each one of the slats up to. Then I cut some spacers to throw in between each one of the slats. This allowed me to clamp the slats together and not have to worry about them moving around while I started attaching things. To attach them, I applied a little bit of wood glue into each dado and then again used an 18 gauge. One per slat is all it takes. After getting one in, I moved the spacers up to the next one and simply repeated. With my door being so tall, I added 4 stretchers per door.
And one door. Ooh, gosh, it's so cool. It's so cool moving things around. Ow, pinching myself. Gosh, it's like it doesn't appreciate it or something. So in order to get these to be inset and on the same level, I'm just going to attach the back side of these hinges to these standoff blocks, and then I'm going to attach these blocks down to the inside of the cabinet. Now I want to get the bottom reveal, so I'm going to use a spacer to hold it in place while I make sure this block is pressed up against, setting firmly. Yes, it is. Nailing it.
Note that they definitely make a hinge where this block wouldn't be needed. But I tell you what, I couldn't find the one I needed, so I just worked with this one instead.
Now I'm going to put this little block into here. In order to make sure it gets to flush at the top, I'm gonna put this, give me something to clamp to. In order to pin it.
All right, the body is 100% done. So I'll move it out and get 3 coats of finish on it.
All right, now it can get sprayed 3 coats on the outside. Remember that the inside is already pre-finished. And then, because I don't want to get paint on this background, we'll brush on the coat of finish on the face frame. But spraying the body will make it go quick.
Now let's talk about how I installed these giant cabinets.
These cabinets are going to be hung by French cleat. So the idea behind the French cleat is this is cut out of 45 as well as this bottom lip. This will go on the wall up there so that the cabinet will simply be able to rest on top of this and be hung. And I'm going to put one along the bottom and then also one along the top.
2 French cleats on the back will not only be strong, but also simple to install. Note that I first found the studs on my wall where it will be hung, and then that dictated where on the back of the body the cleats went. Let's see if they go on.
Okay. Mine. Oh my goodness, is it going to fit? It looks so intimidating. Or it looks like the space is so much smaller than this giant big thing. Now, lift. There we go. Hey! It's like I had to make sure. Is it in? It's in. Hey. I'll worry about the spacing later. Tell me how it looks. Yeah! Does it really though? Because up here it looks awesome. Okay, let me see if I can do this side. Yeah, we're gonna give this a shot. I don't think it's gonna go on because of this the trim, because I have to move this up so much to first clear this and then in order to set it down. But you know what? It needs to come up anyway, so we're gonna try it. Mine. Oh, that worked. I make Jacob so nervous. Heck yeah, let's put the doors on it and see how this Beautiful thing, look, this is gonna be so close to looking complete after these doors go on.
I don't have little ones that might pull the cabinet down, so I could just leave the cabinets hanging on the cleats. But an extra safety measure would be to screw it to the wall through the back. Ready? Big moment. The doors will have to open towards the center of the loft because of the slope of the ceiling, but I actually like how unique this is. Now it's just a matter of placing the shelves where I want them. Since I'm using this for vinyl storage, I used an album to dictate my spacing. When I designed the space, the center cabinet's depth was decided by books. Then the cabinets here were made to match. With that, vinyls can only fit in facing the front. Well, I wanted the option to open the door and flip through what was on each shelf. So I whipped together some custom holders to allow me to do so. Know that these are for sale on my website if you'd like your own. They worked great for all of these lower shelves, but the upper shelf would be too tall for me to repeat on. So these got a custom crate instead. However, there is still a slot on the front so that the top shelf can have a forward-facing album as a display. Ooh la la. My plan is to use my record stand with the built-in storage cubby as my main hub, but then use this as my overflow storage. I'll be able to easily rotate out groups of records at a time by using the crates, but then also easily go through my collection whenever I want. I'll tell you this, putting these cabinets in and seeing the space just about complete was surreal. It always is at the end of these projects. I spend months and months thinking about and planning. But as complete as it's looking, I still have more to come. Next up, we'll be building a permanent ladder to access the loft. Stay tuned if you're interested.